My presentation on vulture bees, the zoophagous bees. My name is Charles Calusi, and thank you for joining me today. Bee diversity. Bees come in many shapes and sizes, ranging from ground-dwelling bees to arboreal bees, from stinging bees and stingless bees. South America has perhaps the most diversity in stingless bees category, with 269 out of the around 400 stingless bee species living there. 33 of these species are well-known honey producers and are actively harvested by people in Latin America. Another word for stingless bees is the melaponini. Vulture bees are unique in the sense that not only are they stingless bees, but they're also zoophagous or carnivorous. Trigona hypogea, Trigona necrophaga, and Trigona crassipes are the three species of vulture bees that we know of. Trigona hypogea. They are small, social, and stingless bees that live in labyrinth trees and hives. They live in Central and South America in jungle and rainforest biomes. They're unique in the sense that they do not collect nor store pollen in their hives, and they do not pollinate flowering plants. They are discovered in the late 1700s, but their carnivorous behavior was not observed in the species until around 1982. This leads researchers to believe that this adaptation was picked up relatively recently. Key differences between Trigona hypogea and Apis mellifera. There are fewer hairs on the legs of Trigona hypogea. This is because they dropped the adaptation of acquiring pollen from plants. Fewer hairs is better for these bees because they just don't need them. They'll also have smaller leg baskets for meat, meaning they probably have adapted to the most efficient meat chunk size for harvesting meat off carcasses. They also have 5 large blades on their mandibles for carving up meat and delivering painful bites. Because these bees don't have stingers, their bites are the main deterring force when predators try to get into their hive. Their guts contain lactobacillus and other acid-loving bacteria in their gut. This is important because these bees harvest dead meat, which has harmful bacteria and other decomposers on it. Also, the queen is allowed to mate with only one drone, and the queen is killed if the queen attempts to mate with multiple drones. Why choose meat when nectar works? Now, the theory of evolution states that competition for a niche results in pioneering traits. This pioneering trait of harvesting meat instead of nectar and pollen comes about because there's probably fierce competition for the flowering plants that are already in South America. And South America is a little bit low on flowering plants, and they just don't have many for bees to acquire. So to get around this, these stingless bees in particular, the Trigona hypogea, have adapted to acquire meat instead of pollen for their protein source. How is meat honey made? Well, firstly, worker bees forage for carrion, as well as sugars from fruits and extrafloral nectaries. It is important to note that they do not visit flowers for their nectar, but rather nectar that is present on maybe plant stems. Foragers themselves deposit the crop contents into the pots, which are separated into protein pots and plant sugar pots. In Apis mellifera, foragers transfer their contents to bees that then transfer them into comb. Foragers for the Trigona hypogea instead directly deposit into the respective pots. These are then let to cure for 14 days, and afterwards they mix the meat sludge with the plant sugars to form their quote-unquote meat honey, which is not really meat honey. It's not really honey in general. Conclusion: vulture bees are really, really weird, really interesting creatures, and it's an example of what we think evolution happening in real time, in observable time, in the last 100 years. Now, this is really rare for us to see. We don't really see creatures evolve, these sorts of traits really fast all of a sudden. So this is a notable example of that. And to me, they're going to be one of the coolest bees ever, and really a treat to research. Here are my references. Thanks for showing up to my presentation, and good luck on your final exam.